We're catching up again with the independent MP for the seat of Murray Helen Dalton. Helen, a big few months for you trying to retain the seat of Murray that you won several years ago now.
For sure. So I'm looking forward to campaigning and really starting after Australia Day in earnest, although I'm tinkering around the edges at the moment, so heading out to Leeton today.
All right. What's happening at Leeton? What are you up to there?
Look, I'll just call into the shops and see how they're going and just touch base and listen to their concerns. So, and catching up with friends and making new friends, I hope. So it's all good. I really enjoy getting around and speaking to people.
Fantastic. Look, let's talk Carp. I better spell that one right. Carp. You've posted a picture on your social media about all the carp finding their way through into the farmers' farms in some cases. Just who's dropped the ball here? I thought there was a herpes virus they wanted to release to control the carp. It seems like not much is happening.
No, not much is happening at all. I think the federal government pulled the funding on it, which was a real shame. But I don't know. I think with the proliferation of carp after the flooding, it's now more than ever so important to revisit that and have a look at it. And of course, the carp are an underwater rabbit, and they churn up the water and make the water really murky and horrible, and that allows blue-green algal blooms to proliferate. So it's a big environmental problem. And I wish that we've got the Murray-Darling Basin Authority. I wish they'd take the bit in their teeth and really look into this, because the promised plan was to look at the environment, and at times I just think it's not about the environment, this plan, it's about a political decision that they've made. So I want them to get into the conversation again about how do we control carp. And I think with the swollen rivers at the moment, it's an opportunity just to maybe have that conversation again.
Yeah, the scale of the problem's been made clear to me from a video I've seen online of all of these carp that have washed up onto the beaches down past the Murray mouth, and where the coastal drift brings them up onto the beaches. It's a phenomenal problem, probably one of the biggest ones in the Murray-Darling Basin in terms of the impact on the environment versus what happens with native fish.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, the way they're managing the rivers, they're letting cold water out. So that's an issue too, and that the native fish don't do well, but the carp do, and that's where we see the imbalance. And of course, it's just a pest, and it doesn't belong in Australia. And I really do think that we should really put pressure on the government to make a decision with all of this.
Now, speaking of things I've seen online, I'm quite stunned to see this photo of a banner about yourself at some of the local clubs, or is it just one local club? Why have you got on the wrong side of some of local sporting clubs?
Well, I guess I'm on the wrong side of the sporting clubs because I'm talking about how many poker machines there are and how much money goes through the poker machines in our electorate. It's about 185 million per annum, and across the state, it's about $95 billion goes through poker machines. And a lot of that money leaves our area, and a lot, of course, we've got problem gamblers, and, what happens is we don't have those services to help those problem gamblers, and we see family breakups, divorce, financial hardship, and even leading to suicide. So I think we could do a lot better than that. Now, we have something like 91,000 poker machines in the state. So, and I jokingly say we've got more poker machines than potholes. So I'm not against gambling, but it needs to be reined in. It is totally out of control.
When you say when you say the revenue's leaving the district, are you saying the taxes that are paid on the pokey revenue, or are you saying the money earned by the clubs is going elsewhere?
Well, of course, the clubs gain something out of it, but so does the government. So that money goes back to the government, and of course, 2% of the earnings goes back into community. But when you think about how much money is put through, it's not a lot. I mean, the clubs will tell you how community-minded they are, and we do appreciate it. However, the charities are really under pressure at the moment, trying to pick up the pieces of problem gamblers and their families, and I see it every day. And I think there should be, I'm supporting the reforms. That's what I'm saying. And Clubs New South Wales have taken, offence to all of that and said, how dare you talk about this? and singled me out, and hence put all these banners up in the Murray, the seat of Murray.
That's what I find peculiar about the situation, is that these are reforms being proposed by the government involving, cashless gaming and that sort of thing. Why are they singling yourself out? Shouldn't they be cranky with the state government as well?
Well, you'd think so, but I think they think I'm a female independent MP and I'm an easy target. That's the only thing I can put it down to, because I can name a lot of MPs that are supporting the reforms just like me, and yet they're singling me out. I am the only female independent in New South Wales Parliament, and I think that they think that I'm going to be weak and cave into all of this intimidation and bullying. I am not. Well, it needs to be said, and we need to also talk about gambling, the advertising of gambling, which is just totally out of control as well.
When it comes to what's happening here, I get the impression there's a push for the regional clubs to somehow be put on the back burner or a bit of a go-slow with this cashless gaming. They're saying, we'll start with the city first. And is that why there's a pointed challenge towards yourself? I mean, I thought the government was pretty keen to just continue the rollout across the whole state. Well,
the Nationals have, I guess they're frightened, and they're trying to win back the hearts and minds of people, and they're going, oh, no, just do this in the city and leave us alone. But in the seat of Murray, as I said, it was 185 million that has been put through and lost in poker machines. So that's a lot of money. And we know what happened when New South Wales introduced poker machines and Victoria didn't. We had an influx of people from Victoria coming into New South Wales, and of course the business grew. The business of poker machines grew. So what you'll find is problem gamblers will come from the city into the country, and I guess that's good for tourism. I don't know. They'll sit in front of a machine and put their hard-earned money or launder money through. And I don't think that we should be excluded from all of this, because laundering is something that goes on, I would think, everywhere, and not just in the cities. There'd be lots of that happening in the country areas as well. And, of course, we've got people putting their hard-earned money through. They're problem gamblers. They need assistance. We need counsellors, and we need probably limits on gambling. And they do it in Norway, and it's very, very successful.
We speak about roads a lot here on Flow, and with yourself as well, and you travel on them visiting places like Leeton, where you're heading to today. We spoke with the New South Wales Farmers President, Xavier Martin, on Monday. He was talking about how that's one of the New South Wales Farmers' state election priorities is improvements to roads. Are we seeing enough investment in Murray in not only sealing roads, but maybe even raising them above future flood levels?
Yeah, no, Xavier's certainly right, and he's on the money, really. What we do see is the roads returning to what they were before the flooding, and we're behind anyway in infrastructure spending. We need to really make sure that our roads, our main arterial roads in particular, are weatherproof. And we've seen the Newell Highway and other highways, the Sturt as well, just really breaking up under the pressure of the rainfall and, of course, the trucks going across those roads. So I think we should have significant investment in these roads so that we are not held up when we have a rain event, so that we can get our produce from paddock to port efficiently. The farmers are they're always looking for efficiencies, and the government is always lagging. Now, the New South Wales government promised in 2019 at the last election that they would take over 15,000 kilometres of council road to help, because councils are under financial pressure and they can't always do what they want to do. But unfortunately, not 1 kilometre has been brought over. Not 1 kilometre has the state government fixed up. So we need really visionary planning, and not just from the seat of Murray, but look at it as a statewide thing where we've got the good bridges going across the Murray River. Like, we need a new bridge at Swan Hill, a new bridge at Tooleybuck. We need to be able to get across efficiently. We need to be able to road train produce so that really the state benefits, we benefit, and we'll also do it with a lot more safety than what we've been doing it, because there's a lot of scary things on the road. I get around and I go, wow, imagine having that as a road train rated road when it's just so dangerous.
Well, We spoke with Sam Farraway, the Regional Roads Minister, late last week, and there's been a bit of argy-bargy with him and the shadow John Graham on this one about that 15,000 kilometres of roads. The government claims Labor offloaded these roads when they were in office onto councils, but he claims, Sam Farraway, that they have actually made a start, but it does sound like maybe not in the southern part of the state in terms of these roads being taken back. Apparently it's going to take an application process. It's going to take years, but as you say, councils are under quite stretched budgets. They need to offload some of these roads now.
Oh, they do, absolutely. And I've had two people that I know that have been killed on roads just since Christmas. So it is not for every reason we should be investing in these roads and not just putting them back to the way they were. We need to improve our road infrastructure.
And Helen, just before I let you go, you mentioned earlier you're the only female independent in the lower house. How important is that crossbench role? You've already got the Perrottet government close to or in minority as it stands. What if it's a hung parliament at the next election? Which way will you be heading, or who would you be supporting? What would be the criteria depending on who has got the most votes in the election?
Well, I'm sure. I'm supporting Murray electorate, so whoever gives me the best deal. But I'm happy to work with anyone. I think it will be a hung parliament, and that means that, there'll be a lot of attention placed on Murray. We've already seen now, because it is a marginal seat, and me as an independent have been able to advocate very, very strongly for a lot of things and we've gained a lot in the last 4 years. We've never seen as much money in this electorate, and I want to keep that going. And I really think the next 4 years will be really our time to shine and put the focus back on Murray, because we are the food producers of New South Wales, if not the nation, and we deserve to have a better deal from the government. So I'll be really pushing whoever it is to get our roads, our rail, our education, hospitals, digital connectivity, all those things, and water, all those things that we've been wanting changes. I'm hoping that will be coming to fruition in the next 4 years, because I'm really excited about the prospect of a hung parliament.
Helen Dalton is the independent member for Murray. Thanks so much for joining us again on Flow. I'm sure we'll catch you again before that March election date.
Yeah, I look forward to that, Ricky. Thank you so much.
And Helen mentioned a couple of disturbing scenarios there during that conversation. If you need to reach out to someone, have a conversation, Lifeline's telephone number 13 11 14, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The SMS service is also quite popular. That is 0477 13 11 14. That's Lifeline. Or Beyond Blue 1322 46 36.